Hey team, Pete from Athletic here. Today we're going to talk about why you don't need to take pre-workout and why it's actually just a massive waste of money. Don't feel bad if you're taking pre-workout. I made the same mistakes when I was younger. I'm just trying to help you guys, one, not waste your money, two, not piss it away in general, and three, give you some education so you can use it to perform your best. Quick physiology lesson about caffeine as a whole. It's the most widely used psychoactive drug in the world. We know that. It's an adenosine receptor antagonist, and it also promotes adrenal secretion. Adenosine is the thing that makes us feel sleepy. It builds up over the day, and then caffeine kind of stops this. So an easy way to think about it is you've got to lock in a key, you jam in caffeine into that receptor so it can't pick up any of the adenosine, so you're not feeling tired, and that's why you feel kind of wide awake. We're still actually not sure of the exact neurons that caffeine hits yet. Paper 1 is a placebo-controlled double-blind investigation on 24 athletes, 12 male, 12 female, and their college-aged athletes. They gave them both caffeinated and non-caffeinated pre-workouts, and they got them to work out. I'm just showing you guys the conclusion here. They're just talking about that only the ones that contained caffeine actually increased or their amount of energy they had when they were working out as part of a controlled battery in a controlled environment, which is what we want to know if something works. And they even state that even people knowing that they've taken a pre-workout can actually affect performance. Paper number 2, it's a single blind crossover study. They found that in dudes that were relatively aged, they're about 30, and they had a lot of experience in the gym doing bench press, about over 3 years on average. They were talking about how multiple ingredient pre-workout supplements are less good for your performance and worse off for your pocket than just taking caffeine by yourself. They also found that things like proprietary blends and actual dosages in those multiple ingredient pre-workouts are not accurate. So proprietary blend is when they just chuck everything into one bucket and they kind of just spit it out as it comes out. They're also talking about hopefully this shifts some people in the way of just having caffeine as a whole, but keep in mind this is like preliminary research and we still have a lot to go through. They also found that a lot of the benefits that they say on the package are actually from long-form dosing of things like creatine and beta-alanine, but they take such long periods of dosage, as well as they don't even have the correct dosage in them to get those performance benefits. Plus, all the other ingredients are actually working against each other and making it harder for the pre-workout as a whole to work. So is it even worth it? This is paper 3. It's a meta-analysis. We know those are pretty good for evidence, although this only has about 12 studies, so we're still kind of on the fence. They are talking about here how their main finding is instead of having that really high dose of caffeine, we can actually have between 1 to 2 milligrams per kilo of body weight of caffeine, which can be found mostly in like a double shot of coffee, and is going to be, when you're taking those pre-workouts, it's going to be significantly more, especially if you're a younger person or a lighter athlete. They talked about how caffeine can lower RPE during exercise, which we know from previous things makes sense. They also talked about how it can increase the gains in both velocity as well as power, but there was only a couple studies, so we're not too sure on that regardless as well. But the main thing they're talking about is you really only need between 1 to 2, 1 to 3 milligrams of caffeine per kilo of body weight to see the benefits of it as a performance enhancing substance. Plus, the benefit of taking such low doses is you don't get crazy side effects. So the 3 ingredients that actually matter and will have been shown to improve your performance through evidence base are beta-alanine. So basically it works as a buffer. It helps with endurance athletes in general, and it's in 99% of pre-workouts it's underdosed. So we're going to be wanting between 4 to 6 grams for 2 weeks to even see an effect. And then they've seen that acute doses are literally just going to make you tingle, do nothing else. Creatine monohydrate, it's going to increase your power output as well as strength. It's been shown to do that in evidence-based by up to 10%. We're going to need to be taking that for a very long period of time to saturate our muscles, depending on you. But most of the time, you just want to take 5 grams per day for as long as you can be bothered and as long as it doesn't upset your tummy. There's some acute loading protocols if you're an elite athlete, but most of you guys aren't. So 5 grams per day, take it for as long as you want, and it's going to be increasing your performance in the gym with your power and your strength. Last one's caffeine. So it's been shown to improve focus in some people, and it's been generally shown to increase physical performance in general. Very, very general terms. We want to be taken between 1 to 3 milligrams per kilo of body weight. I'm going to recommend a bit between 1 to 2 just from the paper that we saw. And I'm going to say just have a coffee. Double shot, single shot, or have a no dose. You don't need to spend $80 on a pre-workout. Just take that. Here are my recommendations if you feel like you need something to boost your performance. First off, you don't need a pre. It's probably just caffeine and creatine that you're going to need. Second off, make sure you're hitting your recovery first. Make sure you're sleeping well and fueling your body adequately before you start jumping on this pre-train. Third thing I'm going to recommend is just smashing a coffee or a no-dose. It's going to be cheaper, better for you, and you know exactly what's in it, and you're less likely to, have adverse events because you're dosing correctly. Finally, we don't want to be using pre-workout as a crutch for us not following the basic principles of recovery and general adherence to training. So we're not sleeping well enough and getting what we need. We're not adequately fueling our bodies, and we're not managing our stress. The one thing I want you guys to do more, back yourself. When you go into the gym and you're feeling a bit tired, we know that exercise is going to give us energy, and we don't need to pump ourselves full of stimulants to get in there. So if you just back yourself, go into the gym and just start, I can almost guarantee you're going to feel as good, if not better, than when you're pumped up on stims. So if you have any questions for me or need to have a chat about the papers that we've done or anything else nutrition-wise, hit me up.